Okay, we had just finished on the previous video. This is video number 3 for the CSCI201 practice test number 3. And we had just finished moving Darth left, right, up, or down, depending on the position of the left thumbstick. And now we're going to respond to some other buttons. So the next one says if they press the X button, rotate the picture 0.01 to the left. So if gamepad.buttons.x is button state dot pressed, then I want Darth to go 0, 1 to the left. Turning to the left would be subtracting from the rotation. So Darth dot rotation minus sorry, not minus equals 0.01f. Okay. And then we do the same thing with B, except we move it to the right. So if gamepad dot buttons dot B equals button state dot pressed, then Darth dot rotation plus equals 0.01f. Okay. We do not allow the center of the picture to go off the top of the screen. Okay, that's a little bit easier than keeping the whole picture on the screen, so we just have to check the position value. So if Darth dot position dot, we see don't go off the top is what we're doing here. So that would be Y is less than, and my rectangle, let's go back up and check what I called my rectangle here, is going to be, okay, it looks like it is screen is the one that I've got. Splash screen, I guess, would also work. So let's do, if it's less than the screen rectangle dot, not screen rectangle, just screen dot top, then bring it back. Darth dot position dot y equals screen dot top. And if we go off the bottom, that would be if Darth dot position dot y is greater than screen dot bottom, then bring it back to the bottom. So Darth dot position dot y equals screen dot bottom. Okay, and don't let them go off the right edge. So if Darth dot position dot x is greater than screen dot right, then it looks like I want to do two things here too. Whoops, I accidentally hit a key there. So let's put some curly brackets here. And the first thing I want to do is pull him back to the right edge. So change his position dot x equals screen dot right. And then I'm supposed to play a sound. So play the ta-da sound at full volume from the right speaker only at an octave that is higher than its normal sound. So I've got to set several things here. So ta-da, it's going to be a sound effect instance dot volume equals 1. So that would be the full volume. And ta-da dot sound effect instance dot and this would be the pan is left to right, and I want that to be from the right speaker only. The right speaker is +1, the left speaker is -1, and the middle is 0. Then I want to play it at an octave higher than its normal sound. So ta-da, sound effect instance dot pitch equals 1. And then I want to play it. So ta-da, sound effect instance dot play. The other thing we need to do is check for the left side of the screen. So if Darth dot position dot x is less than screen dot left, then we need to do several things here. We need to move him back. Dot position dot x equals screen dot left, and we need to do the same kinds of things with the volume, but this is going to be the left speaker. It's going to be lower than its normal sound. It's going to be at full volume. So actually, I'm just going to take these 4 commands here, copy them to the clipboard, go down here and paste them in, and the volume is still going to be 1. The volume is still going to be 1. The pan is going to be from the left side, which is -1, and the pitch is going to be 1 octave lower, so that's also going to be -1, and then we're going to play it. Okay, now we're down to the drawing part. It says when in the splash screen state, the splash screen picture should be displayed on the screen using the splash screen rectangle values given above. Use the color white and the short version of the draw method. So let's go down here to, okay, and I think I got an extra curly bracket in there somewhere by mistake. So let's go down here. We've already got the begin end in, and let's do sprite batch dot draw. We're going to do the first version, which is the texture, the rectangle, and the color. And it is splash screen texture, comma, splash screen rectangle, comma, color, color, dot white. Okay. When in the playing state, use the long version. So it's going to be sprite batch dot draw. And I want to use version 6. So if we go up here, I think we can get to it faster with 3 clicks. So I want to draw Darth with using all of his fields, all 9 of these. So the first one is going to be Darth.texture, comma, Darth.position, and we named them all the same as the arguments here, so that should make it easy. Darth.source, Darth.color, Darth.rotation, Darth.origin, comma, Darth.scale, comma, Darth.sprite. I'm sorry, I must have called it effect. Yes, comma, and Darth.layer depth. Okay. Now we're on the final page, and number 2 says when in the playing state, use the font to draw your name in the upper left corner of the screen. Use the font we have created and loaded above. Use the already declared name vector variable initialized to 5.5. So that's going to be draw string command, sprite batch.drawString. And I accidentally hit the enter key there, so draw string. And I need the font, which we just called font, I believe. And I need the string, and you just put your name here. And then we need the vector called name vector. And color dot, guess it doesn't say a color, but we'll do white. If that doesn't show up, we can always change it to something else. Okay, now we're on arrays. If you're in the playing state, if the variable Luke visible is true, draw the 10 instances of Luke. If it's false, do not draw any of them. And when drawing Luke, use a for loop to draw each texture from the array on the screen at a random position. Okay. In your draw method, use the following constants. So if Luke visible is true, then I want to do a for loop to draw all 10 of him. And let's see, I want to draw them in a random position. So I need a random position X and position Y. So Darth dot position dot x equals rand, and apparently I did not declare a random variable up above. Let's go up here and RND instead of RAND. So let's go back down here, and it's RND dot next, and I want a number from 0 to 799, so for my x. And I also need a darth dot position dot y equals, I'm sorry, not darth, Luke. Luke sub I dot position. And that's going to be random dot next 0, 480. That'll give me a random y position on the screen. And now I'm ready to draw him. So sprite batch dot draw, and I want version 6 again. So I need Luke sub I dot texture, comma Luke. And how come I lost that? Let's go back. I want version 6. Okay, Luke sub I dot position, comma. Well, I don't like that. It keeps going back. Whoops, version 6. Okay, Luke sub I dot source, color rotation. So Luke sub I dot source, comma Luke sub I dot, I forgot what the next one was. Let's back up here and go to version 6. And I just did the source, then I want color rotation. So Luke dot color, Luke dot rotation, comma, and it's getting kind of long, so I'm going to move down to new line. And got to change this to version 6 again. And now I just lost it. Which means to get it to show up again, I have to go back up here and do a comma. And so I've just done rotation. Now I want to do origin, effects, and layer depth. So if I go down to the next line here, let's do dot origin, comma, Luke sub I dot effect, comma, Luke sub I dot layer depth. Okay. And it's not liking those. Cannot be changed from vector to float. So what did I do? Is this supposed to be scale here? I think maybe rotation, source, origin. Now let's try that and see if that works. Now 1. Okay, I'm missing something here. This is kind of annoying the way this feature is implemented. I'm going to go down here and do it again. Sprite batch dot draw, and then I'm going to go to number 11 or number 6 here. And so I want the texture, I want the position, I want the source, I want the color, I want the Luke sub I dot color, I want the rotation, I want the origin, and that's what I'm missing. Okay, so Luke sub I dot origin, comma, And now it agrees with me that this is version 6, so then I should have the scale, the effect, and the layer depth on the next line. So scale, effect, and layer depth. And now I can get rid of this. And that will draw him at a random position. I'll draw all 10 of them at a random position. Now the problem here is that it's going to generate a new random position on every tick of the clock. So I'm going to get 10 of them jumping around on the screen every 60th of a second. So it's just going to be throwing them at me very, very quickly. We can address that in a minute or two. Let's finish up the practice test. If you were in the playing state, when the user presses the right trigger, set the variable Luke is visible to true, and when you set Luke visible to true, also generate a random position for each of the 10 occurrences in the array. That is, set each array element's position.x to a random number and from 0 to 800. And okay, and I probably should have that instruction first in there because that kind of fixes everything else that we need to do here. So if I'm in the playing state up here, and if they press the right trigger, so gamepad or pad, and it's gamepad. If gamepad dot triggers dot right is greater than 0, then they have pressed it. And I want to just be on the transition from an extra character there, from being greater than 0 to being 0. So previous gamepad dot triggers dot right is equal to 0. Then if that happened, then this is where I generate the random x and y position, and that's going to fix the problem I just told you about. It will not be happening on every tick of the clock 60 times a second. It will just happen on that one tick when they press the button. So now I need to generate random positions for all of them. So I do need a for loop here, and I can simply copy the for loop as well. So do a control C on that and move it up here and do a control V. Okay, now I want both of those to be under the control of the for loop, so I need to go and put curly brackets around both of them. So that'll give me a random x and a random y for each one of the 10, and it will only do it on that one tick of the clock when I press the trigger on the right side of the game controller. And so I also need to set Luke visible to true when I'm in here. So let's do Luke visible equals true. And the other thing I check for then is if the gamepad dot triggers dot left is greater than 0, and the previous gamepad dot triggers dot left it was equal to 0, then what I want to do is I want to set Luke visible equal to false, and that should hide Luke until I pull the right trigger again. And it does say in the instructions that the previous state of the left trigger does not matter, which means I really don't need to put this in, but it doesn't hurt to put it in. Okay, let's give the program a try. Okay, here we have the program running, and right now I should be in the splash screen state. And what I'm supposed to do to go from one state to the next is, let me see, press the start button, and it should take me into the playing state. And now if I push the left thumbstick to the left, it moves Darth to the left. If I push it up, it moves Darth up, and it should stop when he gets halfway up here. And definitely I picked the wrong color for my font there. Okay, it's not letting me go off the left, and it is making the ta-da sound kind of low and slow. And if I move over to the right, we'll go down to the bottom here so we can test both the right and the bottom at the same time as well. We should get a higher pitch sound over here. And we do, and because it's higher pitch, it basically just plays it faster, so we get a higher pitch sound. So it's keeping me on the screen. I should be able to rotate him by pressing the X button, rotate to the left, and the B button should rotate him to the right. And when I pull on the right trigger, I should start drawing Luke, and that part's not working. So this is getting to be kind of a long video. We will fix that in the final video.